Okay, good morning. Welcome to the channel. We're gonna make a little early morning drive here in some pretty gusty winds. So I'm gonna make this turn real quick right here from our starting point and engage FSD because my navigation was taking me a different way, but you know this route at this point. But woke up this morning, red flag warning, high winds, especially west of our interstate here as we drive up to work. So I figured, hey, let's make a video here and see how the car handles in the high winds. So running FSD 13.2.8 still on the newer version of 2025.2.9, I believe is the main car software version. Check that real quick as we're driving. Got that update the other day, so 2025.2.9 on FSD 13.2.8. So kind of see how the car handles and make our drive up to work this morning. Gusting about upwards to 50 miles an hour off the mountains and across town as well. Let's make a simple little drive. One we've made multiple times and did videos about it. Let's see what we encounter today as we come along with me as I drive to work. Here we are again in my 2024 Tesla Model Y, all-wheel drive, long range. Had this car since May. Got about 14,000 miles on it. It's my daily commuter at this point. So full self-driving has been great as a daily commuter, especially as I go from one end of the city to the other, from where I live to where I work, vice versa. Traffic here this morning, leaving a little bit later here on St. Patrick's Day. Had to make sure the kid saw all the fun goodies that the leprechaun left at our house. We didn't catch one, but he was excited, so I'm headed out a little bit later than usual, than normal. To work by about 5-10 minutes at this point. So we should see a little bit more volume of traffic on the drive up, especially on a Monday morning. Everybody's out off from the weekend, headed to work. Beautiful sunrise this morning. It's supposed to be a great temperature day, almost 70 degrees here in Colorado Springs, but like I said, we're getting some winds this morning. Especially I heard on the news a little further up where I work, the winds are a little heavier. So we'll see how the car handles with that. Seen a new version of FSD coming to hasn't been coming to a lot of people at this point. So we're all kind of just sitting in the 13.2.8 realm at the moment. It feels like we've gotten a couple software updates. And then this one that came through the other day on this 2025.2.9 update to the car just said minor fixes. That was the only thing that was in the release notes for the car, so it wasn't necessarily anything drastic, but again, this is a good vantage point too of how the car handles itself on newer software. Even though full self-driving is not updated, but there could be an impact from the full software update that impacts full self-driving as well, maybe make tweaks to it. When you don't have good release notes, there's no way to tell beyond bringing it out, testing it, and driving it. It's the only way you're going to know. Approaching the interstate here, downtown Colorado Springs. One of the turn lanes to get on here is closed. The other morning I wasn't recording it, tried to get over because there was a long line of cars right here, but I can't because there's cones. in that turn lane. So everybody's forced into this one at the moment. But yeah, flags are whipping over here towards Motor City. So once we get up onto the interstate, we should experience a little bit of drive in the wind as well. Let's see how it handles this morning. Ooh, wind gust just came through. Probably gonna get sandblasted because they are doing construction over here, so I'm sure there's a bunch of dirt that's blasting around, and you know, not gonna help out the paint on the car, tell you that. That is what it is. Battery's, I guess, a little cold this morning. Yeah, the cold battery symbol. You know, I preconditioned, and it hasn't been that cold, so. It's one thing I've noticed about being a Tesla owner, especially in a state like Colorado, especially in the winter time. You can tell how cold the battery can get. Because when I bought the car, it was May, so we put it in the summertime and hot summer, and obviously did totally fine. Didn't really start seeing that symbol until it started getting colder out. But sometimes even with preconditioning, it's not going to necessarily heat it up the way you want it to for your drive. But we're headed up here once we get the green light. Start moving along. But there we go. Talked the other day in the video about all the stuff that's been going on with Tesla. You know, the anger that some people have towards Elon Musk, and we're targeting Tesla owners. Good thing. Knock on wood, I guess, at this point, that I haven't experienced that. I don't know, and I would imagine a lot of people in this city would experience that. This is a pretty conservative city. Here in Colorado Springs, at one point years ago, I remember when I was in college, it was ranked like the 6th most conservative city in the entire nation. And I think that's changed a little bit. It's become a little bit more, I guess, unconservative, and I'm going to say liberal, but there's been an influx in, you know, a change in political demographic that's happened a little bit, but it's still, considering where I live is a very conservative part of town, where I work is probably a very conservative part of town, so I haven't seen anything. I've had a few people looking at me, though, and I noticed that yesterday, here as we merge onto the interstate of, you know, we're going to my parents' house for some corned beef and cabbage dinner for St. Patrick's Day. Guy was like in a white work van or work truck, and just like almost like giving us the death stare a little bit. It was weird. I don't know if he was just looking because he was just looking, or it was because of, you know, what he might feel like a Tesla owner or whatever. I don't know. But so I've only gotten a couple other things like that probably compared to other people in the state, other people in the country. The video that was put out the other day, it was up in Lakewood, Colorado, which is basically Denver, but West Denver. Somebody keyed a swastika into the side of a Cyber truck, right? Obviously caught on Sentry mode, and it's like, why do that? But here we are, we've merged onto the interstate, right? A little windy, you can feel the cars kind of shaking a little bit as well. So that's why I wanted to do this today, just to see, right? I've done one of these videos before, so again, test multiple times. It's like I've had multiple driving the snow type of videos, so driving the wind type of videos here, especially as a big gust comes across, and see how the car handles, and not that it locks up, but as it controls and stays in the lane, it still does the job that it needs to do. Denver Tesla Club, Owners Club. They drove up to Loveland on Saturday and took goodies to the service center up there, because that one's been hit a few times, and actually been a couple of times, I believe, attempted to be set on fire. So some arson even to that Tesla service center up in Loveland, Colorado. So, you know, we're talking about people who are working, right? Employees that work at a service center that need a job, good paying job, and are just working, and are normal people are being targeted because of politics at that point. So, Denver Club took goodies up there to them, showed appreciation, which was awesome. I haven't heard any stories in Colorado Springs yet in terms of like the service center down south. We just passed it a little bit ago. Got the truck up here pulling off the road. Interesting. Good shape though. Like I said, you can feel the wind. So we're making this drive past the little school bus. Well, like I said, yeah, I haven't heard any stories about the Colorado Springs Tesla Service Center at all. So if I'm wrong, let me know, because I haven't heard anything. Give me some links to some stories, and we'll read them. I keep reaching up here. My little garage door opener rattles. Things like super old. Sits up here on the visor and just rattles. So I remember the first time I was like, oh my god, something's wrong with the car. I look away, hold it, and no, it's just that. It's my little Craftsman. I could get techie, obviously, and upgrade my garage opener with, you know, whether HomeLink or the MyQ stuff in here, but I'm a simple man. I can push a button. I say that now, watch me in a few months, and it'll all change. So, we'll see. Yeah, very gusty up here. I was watching the news this morning, they're talking about it, and actually the news I watch is their station's actually up here, right here off this road. NBC news, local news station, Channel 5 here in Colorado Springs. Talking about 50 mile an hour gusty up here. Gusty at the Air Force Academy, kind of that's where we're going. But you can feel it on the road. Hear it coming across the car as well. I keep yawning. I'm tired. But it's supposed to be a nice day out. So. So much dirt on the road. And you can look, I mean, you can't probably see it now, but just on the shoulder, and it's really windy right now. We're getting it. You almost can see the steering wheel there a little bit, keeping it adjusted. We're driving through a gust at the moment. As you can see it on video, you can sort of see it in the trees a little bit. There's no leaves on the tree, so it's like at this time of the year, it's kind of hard to tell that it's super windy because you don't see like but if you can see that American flag towards that car dealership, then you can see what I'm talking about. So hit that gust. That's why I got blasted by the sand that's still on the road. So that's what they do in Colorado. In the wintertime, they drop a lot of dirt and sand on the road as a salt. So this drive, you know, not every day since May, but right, so I've had chips on the car. I've had to get the little bottle of paint, ammonium paint from Tesla. I've done some touch-ups. It's done a good job with it. You can't tell where I've touched it up. I've seen where the chips are. I've had to help it out a little bit. Adjusting to keep the car in the lane. Because we're getting blasted right now with the gust of wind. So I'm just trying to keep my hands here as perspective a little bit to see how the wheel is doing. But FSD is doing a good job. I mean, it's keep as best as it can. It's keeping us in the lane. But it's moving a lot. Watching that wheel and you can see it constantly moving here. Normal day, if it's on the straightaway, obviously it's not going to be moving like that in order to keep the car in the lane. So it shows you how gusty it is for one, how windy, and then two, how good of a job the car is doing to keep the car in the lane, right? Incoming traffic here, so like came a little bit with cars getting over. So as a human, I mean, you gotta obviously do the job if you got your hand on the steering wheel. You gotta do the job of keeping the car in the lane versus drifting off onto a shoulder or into another lane because the wind's coming through and getting in. But full self-driving here is able, and like I said, you can see that in the wheel. I mean, you kind of still see it a little bit. How much it's trying to keep the car straight and driving. We're about half a mile from getting off the interstate here. But that's a good show, right? So that's a good test of what, let's say, the power and the smartness of full self-driving to stabilize the car in the gusty winds and, you know, different types of weather. Off the interstate, and that'll be it. head east towards work. But more gusts. Hey yo. Right in the middle of the road. Woohoo, baby. Sorry. Just a cone right in the middle of the road. Didn't hit it at least. Almost took it over there. Did the job. So anyway, alright, so I think I'll probably stop right there. So kind of got the feel of what we were trying to see there, and as we come to this stoplight. Thanks for coming along for the ride this morning. Thanks for checking out these videos, and if you like the video, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.